Hi, I'm Tim. I'm just going to give you a quick through of my Endole Scraper solution that I've built. Just to give you a little better background, Endole is a business research website that allows you to look up certain information about companies in the UK. Ordinarily, you would have to pay lots of money to get this kind of information in a database. Endo does charge, but if you don't fetch too much information, you're allowed a certain amount of free requests. So this is a page of GlaxoSmithKline. I can let's look up Lloyd's Banking Group. There's Lloyd's, so it has all sorts of information like the company incorporation date, the size, number of employees, and some balance sheet information, etc. So all really useful. So this is the solution in GitHub. You can download it as a zip or through GitHub Desktop, or you can just clone it through Git, whatever you prefer. I'm just gonna hop over to the Visual Studio solution. So presumably you've downloaded it and now you can open it up in Visual Studio. There's really just two files to this. So one, a Python file, and two, an input text file. So I'm going to open the input text file. And what this shows is a list of company registration numbers. So these are the companies that we want to fetch information for. And obviously I've only got 10, but this can have thousands in it if you so desire. So we'll close that and let's open the Python script. So this is our script. I've got a couple of uh, functions here. I'll come back to those in a second. We'll start looking at the main function. So the first thing the main function does is one, it just opens up the text file where you've got the company registration numbers stored. Then we initialize just a pandas data frame. And this data frame is going to serve as our output. So we're going to write information to that. But when we initialize it here, it's empty. Then we're going to loop over each line in the text file we've just opened. And what we do, firstly, we call this function fetch endo details. So that's this function up here, right? So let's go through this function. So what it does here, firstly, it initializes a dictionary, just that has just the registration number. Then we construct a URL using this endo address and concatenating the company reg number that we've passed through as a parameter. And then what happens, we use the Python module URL lib request to open up this web page, and we convert that to a nice UTF-8 text file that we can search. So that's that web content object. And then I use this function I created called get value, and what this simply does, it searches this a chunk of text for a start and end position and simply returns what's in between that start and end text. So using the HTML tags, we can find right what's the name of that company, what's the incorporation date, the size, the year ended, and employees. And this function, the get value function, fetches these from this chunk of text and it creates entries in the dictionary that we've initialized. And lastly, it returns that dictionary. Uh, yeah. So the dictionary is assigned to variable x, and then we append that dictionary onto our data frame, and yeah, and then it loops over, goes to the next line, and does the same again. Lastly, once it's looped through all over the company reg numbers in the text file, it's going to output to a CSV file. And that's it. And then you can upload that CSV to a database or whatever you prefer. I mean, you could modify this if you want to use PyODBC. You could fetch instead of fetching the company reg numbers from a text file, you could fetch it from a database. And then again, using PyODBC, you could write to a database rather than outputting to a CSV file. All right, so let's run it. So if I click start, um, command shell window opens, and there we go. It's fetched the info for these company registration numbers. And then lastly, the final step is to output everything to a CSV. So just press a button to close that. Right, so in this folder, where this module is stored, we will now have a output CSV file. There it is. So I can, let's open this in Notepad, but there you go. So there's the first line, Lloyd's Banking Group. So if I hop over back to the Endole page, I can see, right, 65,076 employees. That's what it's written there. Incorporation date of the 21st of October 1985. Right. So now you've got a chunk of information about these companies, and so you can upload this in a database. All right, that's really it. I will put a link in this video description to the GitHub repo and also my LinkedIn profile if you want to get in touch. Thanks very much for watching.